Previously on Fear the Walking Dead.
I just can't believe this show. I seriously cannot believe how good this show is. This episode absolutely blew me away with what they did. I know a lot of people have been wondering, at least I was, when we first saw the trailer for this season, that, oh, is it Madison in the cell? Is it Madison that's locked up in the cell? I gotta be honest, I like the way this went. It actually was Janice that was locked up in the cell in this episode. I can definitely say I think this is one of the best seasons Fear the Walking Dead has ever done. What's your problem?
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. This is going to be for Season 6, Episode 5, Honey.
Dwight, this is not your call.
Soon enough, this will all be behind us.
Okay guys, this is going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. This is going to be for Season 6, Episode 5, Honey. So, yes guys, after this week we only have 2 more episodes left for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. And yes, we are going with the mask for this video. I figured I was waiting until we would finally see these characters actually arrive in the show. And then I'd be like, okay, screw it. We're going to do this for the review. So, yes, we are going to be doing a masked review, which is going to be kind of fun. But, yeah, I promised you guys I would do it, and I'm going to go ahead and do this for you guys. So, yes, we are going to be doing the review with the mask on for this video. So, alright, now, let's talk about this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. So, we had a really great episode. I mean, once again, I feel like Fear the Walking Dead has brought another just amazing episode, and honestly, I am going to have to say this is probably my favorite season of Fear the Walking Dead so far after this episode. I think this episode definitely did it for me. I mean, I was already kind of like thinking, okay, it's probably one of the best seasons Fear the Walking Dead, has probably, ever done. But this episode really did it for me. So, this was a really good episode. Basically, this week, we get to focus on kind of the same characters that we got to focus on in episode 3, except they're all together, so it's a lot more exciting. And, I know episode 3 was an episode that a lot of people liked, but there were a few people that thought episode 3 might be like the weakest episode of the season. I did hear some of those comments, but I don't understand how anybody couldn't like this episode. So, this week's episode, we get to focus on Dwight and Sherry. They are like the leads of this episode, as the episode obviously titled Honey. And we basically have kind of a really great introduction. I mean, a really great introduction to the episode as the masked people kind of show up, as Dwight kind of sees, he's spending time with Sherry, and then, we kind of, we get the introduction to the masked characters. Now, obviously, what our characters do in this episode is very exciting, as they try to kind of take down the SWAT vehicle. Of course, Althea's, kind of van, as she likes to say, even though it's a SWAT vehicle, but she always calls it a van. So, basically, you've got these masked characters, obviously, with Sherry and with the others, and they basically try to take it, they try to take it down. They want to blow it up, but of course, that doesn't happen, and we get to see, of course, Dwight that goes in, and basically, the guy gets away, unfortunately. Now, the one thing about this, I love this. I love how the guy was driving, and then you see, the one guy, the one pull up, and then the rest come, and they all come up to the SWAT vehicle. Of course, Dwight goes in, and it was really exciting. I mean, it was a really exciting scene, as you see, them. They do get the SWAT vehicle back, of course, which I'm very happy to see, but of course, the guy gets away, and you're just like, darn it, like he gets away. And then we get to a really exciting part where we have Morgan that gets, introduced, of course, in this episode. And he shows up with the guy tied up, and basically, he's like, you guys lose something, that type of thing, and I loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing, as he kind of shows up, and we get to basically see that Morgan is, obviously, we've seen him for many episodes now. He's trying to kind of figure out a way to kind of build up some kind of army here against, Jenny and her, Rangers, of course, but I'm very excited to see, now that, of course, these, characters have met up. Obviously, the one thing that I definitely do want to mention for this this scene is that, Sherry did mention, did you save him too? So that was very interesting. And then Dwight said, no, kind of the opposite. So yeah, that was crazy. Of course, we've discussed a lot about that in some other videos, but yeah, obviously when Morgan shows up, we got that line from Sherry that definitely says something. So, I'm very, very excited to see, what happens with this group, of course, next, because, in this episode, we get to basically see, kind of a back and forth kind of, fight between Morgan and Dwight, who, Dwight doesn't really want to go with Morgan, that type of thing, and, he thinks that maybe it's just not safe, that type of thing. There's a few mentions of Grace in this episode, which is also definitely very interesting, and Morgan and Dwight definitely disagreed a lot in this episode, but it was all very, very cool stuff. And I really did like a lot of what they were doing with Dwight and Sherry in this one. But, of course, this episode, of course, we get to see at the end that, Dwight and Althea are going to take these other characters, of course, that we saw in episode 3. They're going to take them back with Morgan, and they're gonna go to where Rachel and little Morgan are at, and they kind of take off at the end of the episode. However, Dwight does leave kind of a note for Sherry at the end, which I did find pretty interesting, to be like, okay, this is where we're going, that type of thing. And very, very interesting. And of course, in this episode as well too, we do not get to see Dwight go with Sherry. They do, separate, unfortunately, and Dwight decides to go with Althea and the others. And of course, go to Morgan's kind of location at the end of the episode, which is, very interesting. But Dwight and, Sherry are not exactly together by the end of the episode. So very, very interesting stuff. As an episode for Dwight and, Sherry and just everything they did with them in this episode, I mean, it was great. I mean, it really was. You had some crazy, crazy stuff go through here. Some great action sequences with the SWAT van. And definitely, I think that, Morgan in this episode, as well as... kind of just his appearance, and then kind of seeing him and Dwight and Sherry and all them all together in this episode was really, really cool, with the masked characters introduced, and I thought it was a really enjoyable episode all the way around, and I really did like also how they kind of had Morgan kind of be this kind of, he just felt like so, like, such like a Rickish, like he's very Rick in this season of Fear. He's just, I don't know. A lot of people have kind of compared Morgan to Rick in Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, just the way he's acting and the way he does things. I would definitely agree with that. Specifically in some of these episodes here, he's a great lead right now for Fear the Walking Dead. I know I wasn't a big fan of Morgan as a lead in some of the other seasons when he showed up, but the way they're writing his character this season, I just think it's amazing. Honestly, I think it really works, and it's very good. Definitely very, very good. So, as for a Dwight and Sherry episode, very interesting. Definitely going into more of kind of Sherry's character with the masked characters was, very fun. And we also, of course, get to see them kind of take, like I said, at the end of the episode, take some of those characters and they're going to go to Morgan's place. So, that should be very interesting. So, really awesome stuff, and I did really like seeing the masked characters in this episode. They were really cool. So, as an episode overall, just kind of to kind of give it a rating, I mean, I think going along with the episodes this season for Fear the Walking Dead, I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I do. I think this is another episode of Fear that I really enjoyed all the way through. Everything in it was just super intense, super exciting, and honestly, there were a lot of great moments in this week's episode of Fear that I just thought was really great. Definitely, I know a lot of people also did say, too, that, in this week's episode, we should have seen maybe the oil fields first, since we did see Dwight and the others in an episode before, but I don't care. It was still an amazing episode, and I really, really enjoyed it. So we got 2 episodes left this season for Fear the Walking Dead. They should be great. Very, very much looking forward to it, and definitely now that, the others, of course, Dwight, Althea, and the others are going to be going to Morgan's place, obviously, that he has set up. It needs some work, as he kind of has said, but they're going to be going there, and very excited to see what happens once they actually all get there. And they're definitely raising an army. They're definitely raising an army, and, we're going to have to see what they do, because I'm going to guess probably by episode 8, which unfortunately we're not going to get to see this fall, that there's going to probably be their first act against, Jenny, and it should be really exciting. So, anyway, in terms of this episode, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was really great, and I thought that just everything that they did with Dwight and Sherry, really just some crazy stuff, and definitely some great action scenes, some great kind of, high tension moments in this one, and also, very, very much loved Morgan's character in this episode, kind of the fight back and forth with him and Dwight, and it was a really great episode of Fear the Walking Dead. So that is pretty much all I have to say for this week's review for Fear the Walking Dead. Did you guys enjoy the masked review? Definitely, I wanted to do it for this week just to kind of see what everybody's reaction would be to it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I definitely want to hear your opinions down in the comment section below about Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode episode 5. Definitely very, very much enjoyed it, and you know, in terms of this season, guys, I just think this season is getting better and better as the episodes go on. And honestly, knowing that we only have 2 episodes left, really unfortunate. So we will be back for predictions for episode 6, but that is pretty much it for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. Really enjoyed it. Great stuff. And definitely very much looking forward to these last 2 episodes. So anyway, guys, write your comments in the comment section below. I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead? Write your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, click the subscribe button so I'm sending my videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Follow Dan's Walking Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another video for Fear the Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Anybody out there?